Hi guys, I'm Sly Eye. Arceus is said to be the god of all Pokemon. Arceus, the god of over 800 Pokemon currently in the Pokemon game at the moment, and there's gonna be a lot more once Sword and Shield comes out. Now sadly, all these Pokemon aren't created equal. Arceus is a little mean sometimes, where we got Arceus 120 base stats all across the board, great move pull, in the Uber tier, obviously in the Uber tier. And then we got Pokemon like Sunflora. Sunflora is not as good as Arceus. Spoiler alert, Sunflora is not as good as Arceus. Today, we're back with my new segment called Pimp That Pokemon. This is the third episode I'm doing here. I did 2 more of these. Links to them will be in the description. I haven't even uploaded the second one yet, but it obviously will be uploaded by the time this one shows up. I'm back with my new segment, Pimp That Pokemon. Got 1 episode here, got another one on the way pretty soon. This is my 3rd episode of this. Here's the Pimp That Pokemon right there. Click it. You want to click it. You want to see those 3 Pokemon in the shadows. I'm going to take 3 Pokemon that aren't as competitively viable in competitive Pokemon, and I'm just going to do little various things to try to make them more competitively viable. I'm going to give them small stat buffs, new moves, new abilities, and if a Pokemon I think is on a lot less competitive side, I'll give them a Mega Evolution. So, with all that out of the way, if you like what you've seen, you want to see more, like, comment, subscribe, and share with a friend. Also leave comments below of other Pokemon that I could be talking about in future episodes of this series. But with that out of the way, let's get started. So far, I've only been talking about Pokemon that Smogon considers untiered. I'm actually going to go higher into the Smogon tier list, not too far obviously. I'm going to start with an NU tier with Druddigon. Now, Druddigon being in the NU tier is obviously not the worst Pokemon ever, and it's not a lot of people's favorites just by design-wise. Design-wise, I can definitely see why people call Druddigon the worst dragon. But I don't hate Druddigon. I don't really have a problem with Druddigon. The color scheme is a little weird, its head is a little weird, but Druddigon does have a lot of decent stuff going for it. Its stats aren't as high as most dragons, but it has a good 120 attack stat, and its SPDF and defense are pretty decently high. Its HP stat is a little low, and it got 3. Druddigon is one of the only Pokemon that I can think of that all 3 of its abilities are actually very useful, and I actually really like that. And other things that, Druddigon gets Mold Breaker, which is usually the more popular ability in NU at the moment, because with that, it can get Stealth Rocks on Magic Bounce users like Xatu, who is also in NU tier. So Druddigon has a very good niche in NU. I wouldn't even say it's a niche. Druddigon is a very good NU Pokemon, but it doesn't have a highest HP stat, it has no recovery, and it's very slow. Druddigon has some improvements, so let's improve it. So we got Druddigon here. I'm going to give it a full base stat buff of 40, which is the max stat buff that I've seen Game Freak do to a Pokemon, is give it a 40 base stat buff, a stat buff of 40. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give Druddigon, I think the best thing that I can do with it is give it a higher HP stat. Giving it 20 more HP, but the HP stat to 97 will make HP, defense, and SPDF all in the 90 range, which will make Druddigon a lot more bulky. Much more bulky. And bulkier is better. Also given a small boost to its defense stat going all the way to 100, so 97, 100, and 90 makes it much more bulkier as well. It also makes Rough Skin a more viable ability, because Rough Skin is a good ability. It's the least used one currently on Druddigon sets these days is what I'm seeing. Most people use Mold Breaker, and then if it's not Mold Breaker, it'll be Sheer Force. 10 more defense at 100 defense stat, people might use Rough Skin more often. And then giving it 10 more speed, 58 base speed, obviously faster than 48, makes it be able to outspeed a little more Pokemon. Its speed stat is still crippling slow, but hope this new move that I'm going to give it can also help it as well. Like I said earlier before, Druddigon has fantastic abilities. All 3 of its abilities are useful. We're not changing any of it. Mold Breaker, Sheer Force, and Rough Skin. Like, when people see a Druddigon, it's like, what ability is that Druddigon going to be? And it affects your playstyle depending on what Druddigon set that is. So, don't want to change any of Druddigon's 3 abilities. They're all fantastic. New moves. Druddigon does not need any more offensive moves. Like, Druddigon has a wide offensive move pool, which is another thing why Druddigon is pretty decent. But there's 2 things that Druddigon doesn't have. It doesn't have setup, and it doesn't have good recovery. We're giving it Dragon Dance and Roost. It obviously covers both of those things. Druddigon having Dragon Dance now gives Druddigon a much more offensive window, and it'll make Sheer Force and Mold Breaker even more threatening, because its offensive move pool is so wide. It has such a variety of offensive moves, and being able to Dragon Dance sweep will be great. Like I said, its speed is very slow. Even if it did get the speed boost to 58, it'll still have to get at least 2 Dragon Dances to outspeed the majority of all Pokemon. And then obviously Roost is a recovery move, which gives Druddigon a bigger window to be a defensive Pokemon. And I can see it get Roost. Look, it has wings in the back. Like, even though it doesn't really seem like it can fly, it got great wings. It can Roost, it can recover. All of these buffs with Druddigon, I could easily see Druddigon move away from NU to RU and to even possibly UU, because Druddigon got a lot going for it. Just giving it a little more bones will make it so much better. Next Pokemon I would like to talk about for Pimp That Pokemon, we're going down to the PU tier. We're going to be talking about the Anglerfish Lantern. Now, Lantern has a unique type in Water and Electric. It has 2 pretty decent abilities in Volt Absorb and Water Absorb, giving Lantern an immunity depending on which one you use there. And seeing its stats aren't the most impressive at all. Obviously, the big stat to notice is its big 125 base HP stat, but its defense and SPDEF, especially the defense stat, are really low. So bulk is still overall lacking, and it has literally no offensive pressure at all, with a low special attack stat of 76, and you're definitely not going to use attack of 58. Also, Lantern has a pretty slow speed stat of 67. It's not the slowest speed stat, but you're still being outsped by so many things. And Lantern, even though it has a good utility move set, it doesn't have any other recovery options besides leftovers and rest. So it does struggle with a lot of potential threats. It only has 2 weaknesses, water and ground. I mean, not water and ground, grass and ground. But those 2, especially the ground type, and are pretty common types to encounter. So Lantern does have a lot of issues. We're going to try to make him better. So what we got here for a stat buff, I'm only going to give stat buff to 2 stats. Obviously, it needs a bigger special attack stat. 76 is just too low. It doesn't have any physical presence or pressure at all. So boosting up 96, it's going to hit harder than 76, obviously, but even still, 96, base special attack stat at 96 just isn't a good special attack stat at all. But it's still better than 76. And I didn't say this before, but Lantern does got a decent Water and Electric is a good type, and you got access to good Water Staff, Scald, Hydro Pump, and you also got Thunderbolt and Volt Switch. So you got Pivot. Like, Lantern can have offensive pressure. It got the moves for it. It just doesn't have the base stat for it. 96, a higher base stat, but it still is not enough in my opinion. And also, we're boosting its defense stat to 78. It's much better defensive wall, and it has Scald 2 to burn, so more defensive bulk. It's not the best, but still a bigger improvement. And for abilities, Volt Absorb and Water Absorb are 2 good abilities, but we are going to replace Illuminate, because that's obviously the worst ability. It's literally a useless ability in game. It doesn't do nothing in competitive battling. So we're going to change that to what I think will be a much better ability in Regenerator. I think this will even make Lantern, even though Volt Absorb and Water Absorb, like I said before, are 2 great abilities. I think Regenerator will be the ability of choice, because just Regenerator Pokemon are just so good. And with such a high HP stat, it will make Lantern a much more defensive Pokemon. And then, my new moves that I'm going to give it are going to make that even better. We're going to give it Recover, because it obviously needs that recovery. One of Lantern's biggest issues is a bulky mod, but it has no recovery options. Give it Recover, instantly fixes that. I also want to give it Calm Mind. Calm Mind doesn't really make sense with Lantern, and some Pokemon get Calm Mind, doesn't really make sense. But giving Calm Mind gives Lantern more of a offensive presence. It can set up like a simple moveset can be Calm Mind, Recover, Scald, Thunderbolt, or Volt Switch. And then Lantern can finally put on not only defensive pressure, but offensive pressure with these stat changes, new moves, and abilities. I can easily see Lantern possibly go up to RU like Druddigon, because like if Lantern's a regenerator mon, it has Electric Stab, so it gives pressure to other regenerator mons like the Slowking, Slowbro, Alamomola, especially with Alamomola's super low def stat. Like, Lantern can easily threaten all of those regenerator users, so it'll be more of a reason to use Lantern instead of those two if it gets all of these changes. Lantern will be, I can easily see it be better than those three Pokemon. Now, when it comes to Pokemon that I would want to give a Mega to, I saw Jumpluff. I went back into the untiered section in Smogon, and I saw Jumpluff. Now, Jumpluff, actually back in the day, when I was first getting into Pokemon, Jumpluff used to be one of my favorite Pokemon. I don't know why, I just love the design. Well, actually, I know why. When I was a kid, I was also into the Pokemon trading card game. Like, obviously not like competitive deck building. I don't know why I said obviously, but I wasn't into deck building. I was just into collecting cards, and I was kind of like using my imagination and like reenacting these Pokemon cards as like a real Pokemon game, something like that. It was really weird, but I was a kid, so shut up. But anyways, I had this Jumpluff card that I liked so much. Like, every time like I was playing like games with my Pokemon, my main character would always use that Jumpluff card. And I just love Jumpluff because I like that Pokemon card for some reason. This is the Pokemon card that I had back in the day of Jumpluff that just made me really like it for some reason. I can't tell you why. Like, this isn't even a good Jumpluff card. Like, Jumpluff is actually, I think, a good Pokemon card in the TCG at the moment. Not this Jumpluff, but a newer version of Jumpluff. I don't like a new reprint of Jumpluff. I don't know how you say it. I'm not into the TCG now. Like, I used to like look into it. There's this YouTuber named PTCG Radio that I used to watch during my spare time. I have no reason why, because I wasn't even into the Pokemon card game when I was watching his videos. I don't know, just relaxing, I guess. But anyways, this is a Jumpluff card that I really liked as a kid back in the day, and this is the reason why I used to like Jumpluff so much. But when I looked at the stats of Jumpluff and like actually using it in my game, it didn't grow on me, and I'll show you why. So, as you can see here, Jumpluff has some things that aren't very good. Like Grass and Flying isn't the best stat typing to have. A lot of weaknesses, including 4 times weakness to Ice, which is the worst 4 times weakness to have because it's such a common type, and so many Pokemon that are really competitively viable have that 4 times weakness. So a lot of Pokemon run Hidden Power Ice to counter those Pokemon, so they're also countering Jumpluff as well. Even though they're not technically trying to counter Jumpluff, they still are countering Jumpluff just by running Hidden Power Ice. It's the most common Hidden Power, so it's not very lucky for Jumpluff. And its physical attack stats are so low. Attack and special attack are at 55. That's horrible. Its only decent stat is 110 speed. And its def stat is also pretty decent at 95. And Jumpluff has like a good support move pool. Like, it has a new move String Stab, which is a pretty cool move. It has Encore, I think it gets Defog now. Stun Spore, Sleep Powder. So it has some decent utility, but no offensive presence whatsoever. So I think Jumpluff needs a Mega, and a Mega Evolution would actually possibly make me like Jumpluff again. I want to like Jumpluff again, but it needs improvements, so that's what I'm going to do. So first off, design-wise, I found this design online. I will have a link to where I found it in the description. But I thought this is a really cute Mega Evolution design for a Jumpluff. Like, I would be totally, perfectly fine if this is what an actual Mega Jumpluff looked like, because this is adorable. Typing-wise, I'm keeping it Grass Flying. I literally can't think of possible any other typing I would have it. Because, like, Jumpluff's offensive move pool is also incredibly lacking. So I'm giving it a couple new offensive moves. But first, let's look at the stats. I'm giving it 55 more attack, because since it has Sword Dance, it will be much more useful physical attacker than special, since it has the setup opportunity. Also, a small increase in Spadef, 15 more Spadef, just because I didn't want to just give Jumpluff a stat buff in just 2 of his stats. Like, 3 makes it look more like a mega buff than just a random mega buff. Like, it's confusing. And then 30 more speed, given its speed stat 140, which is incredibly fast. I wish I could make it faster than Mega Alakazam, but it needs a lot of attack stat. Like, 110 is still not even a decent attack stat. It could be a lot higher. At least to like 120, 125, 130. Well, 110 just isn't the best attack stat still. It's obviously better than 55, and it's a lot better than 55. It's literally, I doubled its attack stat. Literally doubled it. I give it 55 more attack. And then, Mega ability, I feel like Technician. I like the sound of a Technician just because it has Aerial Ace. So, makes Aerial Ace a 90 base power move, makes it stronger, because with regular Jumpluff, it uses Acrobatics, which Jumpluff can't hold an item. So Jumpluff is obviously holding the Mega Stone, so it can't use Acrobatics anymore. So even though Aerial Ace will be technically weaker than Aerial Ace, it's still... what can I do? I can give it Brave Bird. But it doesn't make no sense to give Jumpluff Brave Bird. I should have put Brave Bird on a new move, so you can give it Brave Bird. But anyways, Technician is fine. Also, I'm giving it one of the moves I'm giving it also benefits from Technician. I was thinking about Huge Power too, and then I could give Jumpluff a smaller attack stat. But I'll do Technician. Huge Power is obviously better in my opinion, but we'll give it Technician. Also, for a move set, I got 4 moves here: Horn Leech and Leaf Blade. Jumpluff's only good grass stab is Seed Bomb for the physical side, which is horrible. So Horn Leech is weaker than Seed Bomb, but it gets recovery out of it. And then Leaf Blade is just stronger than Seed Bomb. So both of those are better than Seed Bomb in my opinion. Also giving it Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb, 1, it gets a Technician boost. 2, it's decent utility, lowers the opponent's speed stat by 1 stage, and Rock Tomb is super effective against fire, so it covers one of Jumpluff's weaknesses. It hits flying types, which also Jumpluff is weak to. It hits ice types, which Jumpluff is weak to. So Rock Tomb, decent coverage option, but also Superpower, which is also another decent coverage option. It hits steel types, which grass and flying can't touch. Hits ice again. So Superpower, decent coverage move in my opinion. Here's a possible move set for Jumpluff. Got 3 attacks: Horn Leech, Aerial Ace, Superpower with Sword Stance. It also gets Healing with Synthesis. It gets Strength Zap, Encore. Jumpluff will have a lot of options with this. Now, obviously, the grass and flying typing just isn't good enough. 110 is not a good enough attack stat. It's pretty frail on the defensive side. It still has a crippling 4 times weakness. So Jumpluff isn't going to be too amazing. I don't think I can see this being an RU Mega, Definitely NU definitely NU. Maybe NU borderline, but if this was still like the mega for Jumpluff, I would get it. I would like it. That's gonna be it today for Pimp That Pokemon. Once again, I'll leave links to my 2 other episodes in the description. And if you like what you see and you want to see more, like, comment, subscribe. Once again, have any Pokemon that you want me to pimp out, leave them in the description. I think for future episodes, I might be doing some themes of Pokemon. Like, I got one theme and a couple themes in mind already. And then, of course, other 3 Pokemon trios. But anyways, I'll see you in the next episode. I'm Sly Guy. This is bye-bye.